need to pay 50 up
I really
front.
hope we can reach the goal and that you can afford a model like those. I'm sure we will reach the goal eventually, and thanks to that we will see the best version of Vara in a new model, Varasi Rage
Oh
Varasa
my
3 Love
god.
2.
Yeah, I hope so too. We're all working on it together. We'll get there. Or maybe I'll hit the lottery. I play every once in a while. Just for the love of the game. Hello Jenny. Hello, hello. Um one day. Yeah, I think it'll take a couple of years, but maybe one day. Either that or I have to like get lucky somewhere, you know what I mean? We have to have like I hate to put it like this, but like we would need April and May of 2025 to happen for several months in a row. I don't think that that's going to ever happen to us again, but if it did, we could then consider um some more of this stuff very quickly. However, I don't think it's going to happen. Oh, thank you for the send help. Thank you, thank you. Let's see. Intended for commercial use, streaming merchandise by default. Good to know. No additional commercial fees are required. Okay. Uh, if you need to rush the order in any way, the final price will be 1.5 times the standard price. All rush orders will be completed through overtime without impacting the timeline of other commissions. Live 2D recommission does not include that. Revisions. Sketch phase, you get 3 modifications. Line art, base coloring, you get 1 modification. In the detailed phase, you get one modification. Um, Rig commissions. Oh, this is different. There are not many work in progress during the model phase, the modeling phase. After the rigging is completed, a preview video will be sent to you. Upon confirmation, the live 2D model will be provided to be imported into the VTube Studio software. I don't necessarily like that. You were entitled to up to 3 revisions during the entire rigging process. We strongly request that you summarize all necessary revisions in one time so that we can fix it as soon as possible. What about sponsorships? Sponsorships can really help in the goal. Unfortunately, we don't have enough of an audience for sponsorships, really. We've done a couple things through like stream elements or a couple different games, but they're like generally fairly open access um, sponsorships. They're not like we've never been reached out to independently to do a sponsorship because we just don't have enough viewership for that. You really need to like have a really solid um like double digit, triple digit um like viewership that you can really rely upon because sponsors will rely on like your average viewership and stuff like that. And so even even if there was somebody that was like, yeah, I wouldn't be able to really do anything with them just because like I couldn't guarantee that they would make any money because the way that sponsorship works is like, you know, typically it means like the chat like buying a product or trying a game or something like that. You know what I mean? Um, and we do not have a good history of people participating in sponsorships. Even like even small size, right? Like so, for example, when I do like the Honkai Star Rail one, or I did Zenless Zone Zero, I've done um, Tiny Bookshop, and I've also done I think something else. In most cases, we have 0 people download or install. In At most, I had 1 person download Honkai Star Rail, and then I had 2 people download Zenless Zone Zero. When we did that before. Um, Now, as an example, when we did the Honkai Star Rail one, which is pretty recent, I don't mind sharing the financials of that. We because it's pretty open source. It's like through Stream Elements, like almost anybody who streams and is an affiliate and has a certain level of stuff can gain access to it, right? So long as they join while there's slots open, it's more like an application based kind of thing, right? So uh, basically, I for the 1 person that downloaded and they played, and I think it's like level 9 or 10, I received $30 for them downloading. Um, the maximum on that is 50 people downloading. So if 50 people downloaded and played to level 10, I would have made $1,500. Unfortunately, one person downloaded, so I made $30. And they haven't really had too many out since. Um, so like it is what it is. You know what I mean? And also our average currently is 9, so I don't anticipate there's going to be tons of people that download. Right? Like I know going into when I do these things, like when I, for example, when I did the Honkai Star Rail, when I did the Zenless Zone Zero and stuff like that, I know there's gonna be at most if things went crazy, there'd be 5 people that downloaded. Right? I fully understand. Um, so I'm not like, it's not a surprise to me that there was 1 and 2 people. Our average is 9. You know what I mean? You gotta. It's pretty. The math checks out. But yeah, that's just the way that it goes. Why did no one do that? Because they just didn't. I don't know. I don't. You know. I mean, there's things to be said for like, probably me, probably not like engaging with the community enough for people to feel like they'd be willing to try the game because I recommended it, kind of thing. Um, but a lot of people said that, not a lot of people, a couple of people said that they were going to, and then they didn't. And then there was a couple of people that said that they would think about it and they didn't. And that's fine. It's not a requirement. It's not, it wasn't that kind of a thing. But that's just the way that it works, right? So, like, for example, that information is used for other sponsorships and stuff like that. I did, however, for the Honkai Star Rail one, I was supposed to make $80 for that, which is more than double the 30 that I actually made. But unfortunately, during the sponsored stream, a couple people in the chat were talking about how they hated the game. They talked about how they thought that it was boring, or they didn't like the gameplay, or they didn't like this, that, or whatever. They thought that it wasn't good, and they actually docked me $50 because they said that because I have to submit the VOD. And the people that reviewed it said that like I didn't do a sufficient job like supporting the game, so I lost 50. So it is what it is. Because they do, like, they look at the chat and everything. Who were those? I don't know. It doesn't matter who they were. I don't think they're really around anymore. Excuse me. But that's the way it goes. I don't remember this. I mentioned it in like the in the mod chat a while ago when it happened. Um, but yeah, that's how that went. So I could have made 80, but instead I made 30. What if I go off grid, go complete ghost, off radar internet, and pull a Breaking Bad and fourth party undisclosed donate to far? They're all gone now. Yeah, I think they are actually. Like legitimately. I think all of them ended up getting like banned for various reasons. Not because of that actually. That moment was a contributing factor, right? It would have contributed to the reason why, but they didn't get banned because of that. They got banned for other things that they did, and that just added to the pile. Um, but yeah. So like that's why like we just don't really have too many sponsorships and stuff like that, just because I've been tempted. Like okay, I have for those of you who are here, like you're all like regulars, you're here like all the time, right? Would you be cringed out if I like started calling out the people that get notifications that don't show up? How would that be weird for you? Like, for example, you know how like I send out like a Twitch sends out like a go live notification. So for example, when the stream starts, like today, the notification was your burb is live yet again. You know how sometimes I change it up for a while. I use the like your bird wants to say hi to you, like sometimes I'll put like what we're playing, stuff like that. Like the actual Twitch notification that you get when it starts. Right? Would it feel really weird if I were to put like, for example, 1,210 of you get this notification and only 8 of you click on it. Would that be weird? Would that be crazy? It's off. Would that be a crazy thing to do? Because that's the numbers. That's the current number. 70, that's hilarious. um because currently, like, I can show you what it looks like. 70% of the following here, which is like 1,700 people, 70% have notifications on. Yeah, but you're always here anyway. Like, you're sitting in the chat already. Like, that's a non-issue. You know what I mean? I'm talking about the people that, like, see the notification and, like, don't, you know what I mean? If they have the time, they ignore it. They throw it away, right? Um so like 1,200 people get a notification that I go live every night, and on record, the most I've ever had is 13 people click on that notification. Most times, most evenings, it's between 5 and 8. Now, again, for those of you who are here all the time, I'm like not bothered by the number of people that do or don't click on that. The part that I'm trying to resolve is the fact that 1,200 people know that I'm here, and then they show up like hours later in the Discord, or they show up like days later in the comments of my videos, uh, and say, "Oh, you were streaming? I missed it." But they got the notification on Twitch. And they get the notification on Twitch every night. So would it be weird? Would you think I was crazy if I put if I put 1,200 of you get this notification and only 8 of you click it? Twitch mobile notifications are garbage. I agree. I agree. I fully agree with you. I fully, absolutely agree with you. And also, I fully want to recognize in this conversation that people can be busy, people can have things to do, people can not feel like coming, all of the things. You rely on the Discord updates. Yeah, I also put the Discord updates up. Um, but yeah, I've been trying to figure out strategies to kind of encourage people to show up a little bit. I don't know what I don't know what causes some of you to show up, but I've been trying to re-engage with some folks who have disappeared, and I would love to see them back here again. Because I want to do more fun stuff. I want to start doing a little bit more like sponsorship things. I would love to, there's tons of stuff I want to do, like, but it's becoming difficult. Um, some people will follow, join once, and never come back. I'd be so confused. That happens to me every time. I was just talking the other day. I said that there's actually some people in the Discord who have never once been to a stream, because they either sometimes they liked only the TikTok videos or only YouTube, but some of them followed because like joined the Discord for the stream notifications and stuff like that. Yet they've never been. I've never seen them around at all. I've never seen them around on the YouTube, nothing. I don't know who some of these people are. No idea. Like, we are 1,700 people. There is no way we just show 13. Well, that's possible. That's possible. I sometimes can't because work. Exactly, right? Exactly. People can be busy. Sometimes people are working. That's very reasonable. I'm not judging the. Thank you for the Gothic Vara. I am in no way, shape, or form judging the reason why people don't show up. I taking this kind of like as a business. I'm just trying to figure out ways in which I can re-engage with some people who may be free and may be willing to show up, but just aren't engaging with the content because they're either bored with it, or they don't like it, or they don't whatever. I'm trying to make it a pleasant place for everybody. you know? Um, Join Discord, but don't join Strand. Yeah, I mean, okay, with the back to the there's 1,700 people, but there's only 13. I mean, honestly, it's surprising to me sometimes that there's 13. I mean, sometimes when I don't look at, like, right now I have no idea who's here. Not a clue. I cannot see the number. I don't look at the number. It is not part of it is not part of my regular functioning when I'm streaming, right? I look at the numbers when I look at my analytics. So like afterwards, like after a stream, I'll look at my stream summary. I'll look at like, you know, this, that, whatever. I look at my averages because you need a certain average in order for partnership. You need to be able to continuously keep certain averages to qualify for different programs and different betas. You need certain averages in order to qualify for sponsorships, in order to qualify this, that, whatever, right? So I do have to look at the numbers, but I don't look at the numbers when I'm streaming. So right now I have no idea, not a clue, how many people are in the room right now. Um, but I know that when I look at my analytics later on, I notice that, you know, sometimes our average is 6, sometimes it's 7. Meaning that over the course there's sometimes more than 7 people and sometimes less than 7 people in the stream. Now, in like April and May and you know, some of March as well. Not really May so much, because really it was like the first day of May and then I don't know what happened after that. I don't really understand. But in late March and all of April, like I was averaging 25 to 30 people pretty regularly. Um, and you know, right now it's like a very slow period, which is, you know, normal and fine. We've all been taught when you start streaming to expect highs and lows. It's a roller coaster, right? So I'm not like angry or mad about the fact that there's, you know, an average of 9 rather than 25 or 30. I'm just trying to figure out what I can do to kind of help that number along a little bit, which is why I brought up the would it be weird if I started calling those people out. Um, I can't even remember how we got here. Oh no, because we were talking about sponsorships because we're talking about affording the model and affording the rig. Yeah, and that's basically why, because the average is low, and if we want to boost the average, I got to do some weird stuff. I got to be really cringy if we want to boost that average. You know what I mean? And there's certain things I'm not willing to do, like I'm not willing to turn to not safe for work content. That's just not who I am. I'm not gonna turn to lewd content because that's just not who I am. I'm not very chaotic. You know what I mean? We know who I am. We know I'm pretty boring. We know I'm pretty relaxed. So I'm just trying to work with that. Thank you for the hydrate and stretch. I got the bottle right here. I think it would be genius, but it's up to the people who wants to see the streams. That I agree, absolutely. I could put that in there and nobody could click on it. Everybody could hate it. You could all be like, "What is this? What is she doing?" And then nobody, you'd never show up again. You know, but you know, we'll see. Maybe I'll try it because it seemed like a couple of you thought it it might be a little funny, so maybe I'll try it like once or twice. We'll see what happens. Hello, Zila. Hello, hello. Let me grab this hydrate. And I think I need more water. I might have to go downstairs and get water. I also took a deep breath while I was here because I realized I was pretty. I was rambling on pretty long there, and I wasn't breathing properly. Thank you for the tactical Vara. Welcome back, Captain Mario. You might have been back for a couple minutes, but I'm saying welcome back now because that's when I noticed. Maybe I'm a fool or optimistic, but I'm sure it'll work. Maybe. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. You know? That's why originally for a while I actually had I used the same live notification. Um but like Twitch actually uses like the live notification and consistent viewership and stuff like that. They also use average view time to kind of determine in some ways where you stand on lists and stuff like that. Like if you're going to end up on the recommended kind of page, or if you're going to end up on a certain list, this, that, whatever. They calculate all those things. I think the fact that Vara is chill is the reason I keep coming back. Yeah, I'm not gonna like scream at you or like and I'm not gonna scream at a game either. Sometimes I get frustrated with games, but I don't like go crazy about it. I very quickly I'm gonna grab. I already have my inhaler here. I'm just gonna use it because I'm starting to wheeze away a little bit. So I'm gonna mute myself and I'll be back in just like, I don't know, like a minute. Just give me 1 second. All right, inhaler. I didn't know you used one. I remember when I was very little, and sometimes I had to use one. Yeah, I've been using one since birth. It's always been like this. But yeah, sometimes if I yap too much, it used to be like well, if I exercise too, it's a problem. But particularly if I'm doing strenuous activity. I guess technically talking I guess counts. But sometimes I need to use it. Sometimes the chaotic vibes is just way too overwhelming after a day of hard work or studies. Yeah, I agree, which is why I don't do any of that. Uh, but yeah. All right. Let's see here. We should probably look at a couple more. What time is it? 10:54? I don't feel like leaving. Double platform streaming, like streaming on to YouTube. Short live streams maybe, not Twitch and Twitch. I've thought about dual streaming. Um however, no leave, stay. Yeah, stay forever. I want to Oh, excuse me. I want to stay forever too. I want to stay forever. And we should not go to bed. Um let's see. What was I saying? So you have a condition like asthma? I didn't know that. I do have asthma. I do. Um let's see. Oh yeah, okay, the double platform streaming. Okay. So I used to dual stream on TikTok, right? Some of you know this cuz you found me on TikTok. However, over time, the clientele on TikTok has becoming more and more volatile. And I had been receiving more and more negative commentary and like threats and stuff like that. There's also a couple people that like hate me because they were banned from my streams. They often send me death threats over on TikTok, stuff like that. I also can see that TikTok is struggling a little bit, and so I don't necessarily. So I'm kind of stepping away from TikTok. Um, with YouTube, I have tried multiple times to dual stream to YouTube. However, I find that it ends up splitting my audience rather than like quote doubling it. So rather than having all of you here on Twitch and then having a different set of people on YouTube, what ends up happening is some of you stay here on Twitch and some of you go to YouTube. And so then it kind of cuts the audience on in both locations rather than one or the other. And the kind of exposure on YouTube is just like not really there for me. We'll see. I've had like a couple posts that do okay over on YouTube, but not a ton. Particularly the regular videos don't do very well, like the VODs and stuff like that. I get like, I don't know, 10, maybe 20 views. So I don't really have too much of an audience over on YouTube. So it doesn't, you know, it doesn't necessarily transfer over well to be going over, to YouTube and stuff like that. Um, I hate those rage baiting dummies. Yeah, they were a little bit. Some of them were genuine though. Um, like I got a couple the shortness of breath debuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The shortness of breath potion is what we've been taking. Um, I've had a few people like be very legitimate with the threats that they make to me on social platforms, um, which is wild. Um, so in some ways, I've kind of taken a step back on some of that stuff. Um, just because it's not that I like can't handle it. It's just that like for example, I don't think it's worth the frustration because I don't want my mods to have to deal with that. It was for a little portion of time. It was very um stressful for them and I know that. I also didn't have enough moderators at the time, right? So it was very stressful and like I felt like they were overworking unnecessarily. I felt like they were stressed out. I know I was overworking and I was stressed out and so it was just not working out. We're in a much easier place currently However, I'm not growing. Which isn't technically a problem, but it is at the same time. Like, if we want some of these things that we all want, the growth needs to be there. And unfortunately, right now, the growth is not there. That doesn't, and for a while, basically the whole summer, I've been trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong, like what is not going correctly for me, so why the growth is the way it is. It could just be like the time of year versus like, what people are doing, how busy they are. um there could be like outside factors, like, environmental factors, like what's happening in the world around us. It could also be internal factors, such as like, is my content good enough, engaging enough for people? Is my Are my shorts good enough? Are people interested in them? Are the VODs too long, or are they too short? Are my streams too short or too long? Am I not streaming enough? Am I not doing enough in the streams? Am I not entertaining enough? Is it my personality? Is it my voice? Is it the fact that I use a customizable model instead of a custom model? Like, I've been sitting and going through all these things. Sometimes the best way to deal with those people is to just walk away and ignore them. Indeed. I met you during this no growth period, and I think you're heckin' cool as heck, and I think that's pretty cool. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I don't want to say that it's been uh like a sad time, but like, it's been a humbling experience. I knew that this would happen. Like, I wasn't unaware. I do have like I have done a lot of studying into the way that social media works and the way that streaming works and the way that the growth works and stuff like that. I knew it was coming, right? I just didn't want it to happen yet. I wasn't quite ready for it. So when after like May happened, people kind of just like disappeared. I don't really know what I did wrong, but they disappeared regardless. It doesn't matter, right? But they did. And I've been trying to figure out I've been trying to figure out what to do from there on, and I haven't quite figured it out yet. And I don't know. I can't figure out what the problem was in the first place. Like, we did have a little incident. Well, it was more than a little incident, but we had a bit of a drama incident in May, that we took care of. It was like late April, early May. Those of you that were around for that know, and we're not going to really talk about it and bring it up because if we can move on. We don't need to talk about it, right? Those people are all gone and taken care of. But I often wonder if that little crisis is what kind of started the snowfall, like the downward plunge, uh, into where we are now. Even though so many people don't even know what that is at this point, like, we're so far removed from it, and we took care of it immediately, and like we took all the steps that we needed to, and like all of that, right? We did all the things. But like, I can't help but to think that that's why I'm where I am, and I'm resentful for it. So I've been trying to figure it out for the longest time. Months now. It's been since like May. I've been trying to figure some of this out. As you should be. I mean, I don't want to seem like I'm super, like I'm full of rage because of it, but like sometimes that problem keeps me up at night because I feel like the rug was swept out from under me and I lost opportunities because of it. And so sometimes I get frustrated because I'm trying to do the right thing and it's tough. And I'm going to try and not cry about it. We're going to laugh and not cry. For my streamer, oh, King, that means a lot coming from you. And so many of you, because like so many of you have been around for like so long. Well, you know what they say. If you touch bottom on the well, the only way is up. Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like. It feels like very much the period of time right now feels very much what it felt like um before I got this model, like before I had, VTube Studio and all that. When I had like a really garbage model and when I had all that other kind of stuff, um that's the way that I felt then before I was an affiliate is the way I feel now. The numbers are basically the same. The only difference is the follow count currently is a lot larger. And to me the follow count doesn't mean very much. It doesn't really get us anything. It doesn't mean anything at all. Um but to me it just means that like all these people have seen me, and most of them have decided that I'm not worth watching again. And so I've been trying to understand why that is. You been my streamer trash model? You mean the goat? Oh my god. Yeah, the one most of you, not most of you, but the first 50 people that were here ever in the stream met. But we don't use that anymore. We're never going to use that one again. I should probably technically get rid of those videos too, because the company that produced that kind of variant of model and stuff like that, they still exist, but they've been trying some really weird, shady legal stuff. And so I should probably remove that so I don't have a problem in the future. Not that I would love to keep like all of those old VODs and stuff like that. However, I don't know if it's legally advisable that I do. So I might have to go through and get rid of some of them. You love watching me? Aw, I appreciate that. You're one of my favorite streamers, and I really hope you can overcome this difficult time. And I'm sure we'll be back and better than ever. Yeah, of course. Shady stuff. Yeah, they're interested in some shady business. I mean, you know who they are, Angel, but like the vast majority of people don't. Download the VODs so you can have them if you want in the future. I'm never gonna use them. I'm never gonna use them. The quality was really, really bad. You can't even really see what was happening. I'm never gonna use anything with that model in it again because of the potential legal stuff